Joining us now with more on this is KTVU political analyst Brian Sobel. Thanks for being here with us again.
My pleasure.
First off, let's start with your reaction to the administration's decision to have Russia close its consulate in San Francisco.
Well, if you go back a few weeks, you remember that Russia penalized the United States, kicked out a huge number of diplomats and other people. Obviously, this is the Trump administration's return fire. The problem with this is, where does this go? Now, does Russia respond by, further expulsions in Russia than we do it? At some point, somebody's got to say enough.
What do you think the response will be to this?
Oh, I think the Russians are going to come back. And
I mean, from our own people here, voters and other legislative lawmakers.
No, I think this is expected. These are the diplomatic things that happen when one country penalizes another country. It goes back and forth. I guess my overarching point would be, you got to be careful about this. You can't, you can't go too deep on these things. This is an important relationship, whether people believe it or not.
All right, let's talk about DACA, but before we get your thoughts, we want to play a clip. This is what President Trump said about DACA back in February.
We are going to deal with DACA with heart. I have to deal with a lot of politicians, don't forget, and I have to convince them that what I'm saying is right, and I appreciate your understanding on that. But the DACA situation is a very difficult thing for me because, I love these kids. I love kids. I have kids and grandkids, and I find it very hard doing what the law says exactly to do, and the law is rough.
So, Brian, there are 12 million, we talked about this at 5, there are 12 million illegal immigrants in the United States, an estimate, but probably a very close estimate. Why go after, as President Trump says he likes kids, so why go after kids here? Why not go after some of the others?
Well, Frank, I think he's undoing an executive order by President Barack Obama in 2012. And again, sort of like the Russian situation, it's sort of tit for tat. And I don't know whether we will see a whole lot with this overturning of the executive order there. We don't know what the new order will be. I mean, you can strike it down, you can modify it. We just don't know what's going to happen yet. If he's true to his word, and he made the point in February about loving kids and all that, there will be some kind of transition program, I would guess.
We were talking about this earlier, undoing an executive order to replace it with an executive order. But at what point does Congress get involved to try to make it a law? When
they want to. This has been my ongoing complaint, is that in a sense a pox on both their houses for not Republicans and Democrats for not getting into the middle of these very weighty issues. Allowing a president to do these things by fiat is not the best way to do things. Congress of the United States should be making laws and responding to issues by making laws.
Yeah. Brian, we'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Brian.
Yes.